What's up, YouTube? This is the 82-0 podcast. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about Bill Sharman. He was born May 25th, 1926 in Albany, Texas. And he's a top 75 player of all time, officially. So, Sharman completed high school at Central California City of Portville, California. He served during World War II from 1944 to 1946 in the U.S. Navy, and he graduated from the University of Southern California. He played first base on the 1948 USC Trojans College World Series championship team. Following his senior year, Sharman was selected as one of the 1950s NCAA men's basketball All-Americans. From 1950 to 1955, Sharman played professional baseball in the Brooklyn Dodgers minor league system. He was called up to the Dodgers late in the 1951 season, but did not appear in a game. He was part of the September 27th game in which the entire Brooklyn bench was cleared from the dugout for arguing with the home plate umpire over a ruling on the plate. This has led to the legend that Sharman holds the distinction of being the only player in baseball history to have ever been ejected from a major league game without ever appearing in one. However, though, Sharman was among the Dodger bench players that had to go to the clubhouse. So, for people who don't know, at the time, baseball was much more popular. And this is probably why, at least a factor why Sharman wanted to pursue baseball, because there's so much more financial gain in playing baseball over basketball back then. And so you got to keep in mind he's getting older at this point. At UNC, he would average 13.5 points per game for his college years. He played the 46 to 47 season to the 49-50 season. Now, originally, a lot of people don't actually know this. He was drafted by the Washington Capitals, not the Boston Celtics, in the second round, 5th pick in the 1950 NBA draft. So he played 1 year with the Washington Capitals, putting up 12.2 points per game. And, majority of people don't know he even played there. And he would eventually get drafted by the Fort Wayne Pistons from the Washington Capitals dispersal draft, because the Washington Capitals was the last team to fold in the NBA. So they fold, and he goes over to the Fort Wayne Pistons, which are the Detroit Pistons today. And he was traded by the Fort Wayne Pistons to the Boston Celtics for Chuck Scher. So he goes to the Boston Celtics for his second year. And at this point, he's 25 years old. He played the 51-52 season, putting up 10.7 points per game. And he makes his first All-Star game appearance in the 52-53 season. He puts up 16.2 points per game on an elite 43% shooting, which I've talked about in other videos. The early 1950s didn't have good shooting field goal percentages. So he was one of the most elite scorers of this time. And he would go throughout the 50s, not winning anything until Bill Russell gets there. But from the 50-51 season up into the 55-56 season before Russell got there, his averages are 16 points per game on an elite 42% field goal shooting. And when Russell got there, his role kind of changed, because Bob Cousy was the best player on the Celtics team in the 50s, and Bill Sharman being the second best. So now he's got to take another back row seat and just be the third best player. And his role was just to score. So his scoring numbers went up. So for the 56-57 season, he puts up 21.1 points per game. on an elite 41% shooting and 90% free throw shooting, which I want to mention, he led the league in free throw shooting 7 times. He's a career 88% free throw shooter. He had multiple years shooting over 90%. And his highest scoring average was in the 57-58 season, where he'd average 22 points per game. And he would win 4 championships with the Boston Celtics before retiring in the 60-61 season. And at the time, Sam Jones was his backup. And the Celtics were in good hands because Sam Jones was a better all-around player than Bill Sharman. So, of course, it hurt them losing Bill Sharman, but they were in good hands. And the Celtics would go on and win altogether 7 more championships without him. But for his career, he's a 4-time champion, 7-time All-NBA. He's the 1955 All-Star Game MVP, and he's an 8-time All-Star altogether. Now, what gets forgotten in the mix is he wasn't just a great player. I look at him as kind of like to give like a modern comparison, and I know it's hard to compare players, especially from different eras, but to give you an idea, he's kind of like a Reggie Miller, kind of like a Steph Curry. He took a lot of shots for his time, and he was very efficient for his time. And after his career ended after 11th season, he started coaching the Cleveland Pipers of the American Basketball League. And this league didn't last very long. It was a very tiny league. But this would give him his first act of coaching. And in the 70-71 season, he coached the Utah Stars to an ABA title. So, later, for the 71-72 season, he would go over to the Los Angeles Lakers to coach. And Sharman was originally ordered to pay $250,000 in damages because there was a controversy when the Utah Stars brought suit against Sharman for breach of contract stemming from his resignation and tort case against the owner of the Los Angeles Lakers. So he had a contract with the Utah Stars as a coach, and he just agreed to go coach the Lakers. But the trial, they reversed the fees, and he was able to go over to the Lakers for the 71-72 season. And this worked out great because he guided Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West to a 33-game win streak and the then record 69 wins. And it's the first Lakers championship in Los Angeles, and the first for the team in more than a decade. That season, Sharman was named the NBA Coach of the Year. He is one of 2 men to win ABA and NBA championships, the other one being Alex Hanem. Sharman invented the morning shoot-around as a way to burn off nervous energy on game days. So, this is what made the Lakers great. They would get there at game day before anyone else was there, and he would have them work on their shots in the arena. And he got Wilt Chamberlain to start practicing. And I think a lot of the reason why this Lakers team was able to win when they weren't able to win the 3 years prior to their big 3 being together was he implemented a play style similar to the Celtics that he played on in the 50s. Whereas he taught Wilt Chamberlain, don't go down there and score so much, let your guards score, but be an outlet passer, get the rebound, and throw it out to the guards. Your primary goal is just to be a great defender. So you saw Wilt Chamberlain put up the best defensive numbers of his career at this point. And you saw Jerry West's scoring numbers go up, but also his assist numbers as the whole team got involved. So he was a great coach. And he would coach the Lakers for a while. Unfortunately, they didn't win another championship under him. They made it back to the finals in 73 but lost. And he would coach them up into the 75-76 season. And he was inducted as into the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame in 1976 as a player and as a coach in 2004. And after his playing career, after being inducted into the Hall of Fame, he became a Lakers general manager. Sharman built the 1980 and 1982 NBA championship Laker teams, and he oversaw the 85 and 87 and 88 championship teams. Sharman retired from the Lakers front office in 1991 at the age of 65. Sharman went on to author several books, some of them being Sharman on basketball shooting, The Wooden Sharman, that's another book he wrote, A Guide to Winning Basketball, that's another book he wrote, and the gymnasium at Porterville High School is named after him. After his former baseball team, the Los Angeles Jets, dissolved in 1962, he sued to enforce his employment contract with the Jets, culminating in the case Sharman versus Longo. In 2013, Sharman sold his 2010 NBA championship ring from the Lakers to a beneficiary charity, because he was kind of always an unofficiary member of the Lakers front office up until the time of his death. Because, like I said, he got them a championship as a coach in 72. He put together the championship teams in the early 80s, and he forced the later 80s championships. Unfortunately, Sharman died in his home on Redino Beach, California on October 25th, 2013. He was 87 years old. He had a stroke a week prior, and he just kind of died from the stroke. So, rest in peace, Bill Sharman. Let me know your thoughts down below. He made the NBA 75 list, and I don't think those Celtics teams would have won their first 2 titles without him. He was crucial. And same goes with the Lakers. I don't think the Lakers would have won 72 without his coaching. And I don't think they would have won in 1980 without him being the GM. So, rest in peace, Bill Sharman. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thanks for watching.